Yeah, I think you have to copy in the numbers.
I just identified the other left shoulder.
So the guy used to scream in the lobby about loving safe bars. I haven't seen him for ages. What's his name?
It's okay if I listen to it and report to you. Do you want to?
Lago, can you hear me?
Yes, right now, good.
Hallelujah.
We'll just wait a few more minutes before we start.
And just mute all probably, Shani. Think team. Only team.
Recording in progress. 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 Progress.
Just wait one more minute. Hey everyone, my name's Shawnee Simpson. Lago, you wanna introduce?
Wag also gonna be helping.
Lago and
That's
I
it.
probably the two most experienced coaches with this trip. Um, we've both done it probably close to 10 times. Oops. And well, and thank you for spending this time with us on a Sunday evening. We'll try to get through this as quickly as possible. And if you do have any questions, maybe put them in the chat, or you can just wait until the end. There's quite a few slides. I won't spend a lot of time on every slide, but if you do have any questions that you feel like you need answered right away, please put it in the chat. So this is the presentation for the Euro Trip 2025. We didn't make it last year. Gothia Cup sold out in January, end of December. We got a message that all hotels or hotel reservations that the Gothia Cup currently has have sold out. We usually stay in schools, or we have always stayed in schools. so that's not really an issue, but it looks like it may sell out again this year. So the trip is two countries. First, we go to Denmark Cup #1, which is warm-up trip / training in preparation for the Gothia Cup. Denmark Cup is a fairly big tournament, but it's much, much smaller than the Gothia Cup. As you can see, this the photo for the Gothia Cup, that's their opening ceremonies, which is pretty spectacular. The program will start in June with training. We usually do 3 to 4 weeks, but it looks like this year probably going to be 2 weeks since some of the private schools, they don't get out till the second week of June. And the training that we do is not critical, but it's definitely necessary to get the best out of the players and to get them ready for the tournaments. The competition that players are going to be facing is nothing that they haven't really seen, but the teams are a little more organized. The style of play is a lot more physical. The referees play a lot of advantage, so it takes some time and it takes a lot of coaching to get the kids, even after doing the 2 weeks, it takes to get the kids comfortable with the competition of the Scandinavian soccer. The 2 week preparation and then the Cup #1 are huge to get them ready for the Gothia Cup. We usually do well in Denmark, but we really want to try to do well in Sweden. It's such a big tournament, and there's so many teams from all over the world. It's pretty amazing soccer experience for the players. And so we'll do 2 weeks in San Francisco City College in the evenings, usually training, and sometimes depending on the schedule, we may be able to do even 2-a-days if kids are out of school. Then we go to Gothenburg for the second tournament, which you'll see in the slides, but it is the biggest youth tournament in the world, and it's hard to really give it justice trying to explain the intensity of it. Next one. And so we'll leave on the 6th, and these are still tentative dates. We have to get the commitment from the families first, and then the travel agent will let us know what it is that she can get for us. And so we plan on leaving on the 6th, but we may have to leave on the 5th. I don't think we'll leave after the 6th. The tournament starts on the 8th, and so we usually try to get there at least 1 day beforehand so that the players can adjust to the time change and just kind of even just get a little familiar with the area. It's a small town, Frederikshavn, but again, these are tentative. The return date is probably the 21st, but we'll leave either on the 5th or the 6th. And we'll share these with you. We'll share this deck with you guys for anybody who wants it. So Cup #1 it's a big tournament. It's 200+ teams over 20 different countries. And like I was referring to Cup #1 in the previous slide, we do use it as a warm-up tournament for Gothia. And it's not to say that we don't go into Cup #1 to be competitive and try to play and win. And we've done fairly well on a few occasions. You can see the 2 photos to the side in the circles where we've won second place, first place a few times with a few different teams. The accommodations at the school, like I was saying, for Gothia, we stay in a school, but we also stay in a school in Denmark. And the picture in the middle, this is a 2004 boys team that we brought to Denmark and Sweden maybe 4 or 5 years ago. This is a very typical this is what a classroom would look like for the teams. We sleep on the floor with blow up mattresses. There's not a whole lot of space for walking around. The kids have to try to be very, very conscious of one another's space, and also try to keep the area clean. No food in the rooms, no drinking in the rooms, which inevitably somebody does break that rule, but it's kind of like camping, indoors. It's actually kind of fun. I enjoy staying at the schools with the team. It's a nice way to definitely be able to keep the team together, try to develop a little team chemistry, camaraderie. It's really easy to organize the players as far as when to leave, where to go, how to prepare. And also the food, and this is the bottom picture, is a picture of the cafeteria. The food in Denmark doesn't have a whole lot of flavor. It's very simple dishes. One of the issues that we have in Denmark especially is that the kids don't want to eat the cafeteria food because it is a very they are simply prepared meals, but we've had times where kids, they call back home and they complain that they can't eat and they need to spend money on, McDonald's or buying hamburgers or, going to restaurants, and they don't. It's again, it's not the most tasty food, but it's not going to make them sick. It's it's as nutritious as any meal you're going to get, in San Francisco, but minus the flavor. They're really, really basic. Really, really basic. Just they don't use a lot of spices in Denmark. So when we do get to Denmark, we'll get there again, theoretically, we'll get there on a Sunday. We'll have a little bit of time to get situated, get our rooms organized, train a little bit. Opening ceremony is on Monday, and so those first 2 days, we'll do a lot of training. We'll do probably 2 trainings a day, and that is for preparation, but it's also to keep the kids up, to get them to adjust to the time zone or get over jet lag as quickly as possible. Excuse me. Definitely up until the Wednesday of Denmark, we struggle a little bit with jet lag. There's a lot of kids that don't want to go to the opening ceremonies. They're falling asleep. Kids are falling asleep at the opening ceremonies. But in Denmark, almost every day we'll train at least once, sometimes twice, including the game. And part of that is to get us ready for Denmark, for Sweden, but it really, really is also just to keep the kids going and get them adjusted to the time zone. And the great thing about doing the training sessions is we could train, 90 minutes, 4 hours, 3 hours, and then over a course, of the week that we're there, they can almost get in, probably, 2 months, equivalent of 2 months of training in San Francisco. And we're only able to train 90 minutes, twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week. But, we train, 2-3 times, for that entire week. It really does end up being about like the equivalent to what we would do in about, a month or 2 months here in San Francisco. But so again, we'll get there, we arrive, opening ceremonies, we'll play one game typically on Tuesday, one game on a Wednesday, and one of the Thursday usually is, you're still you'll play a group game and then one playoff game. And the playoff games, they're all your guaranteed playoff games. So you'll either be in the A bracket or the B bracket. And the A bracket is going to be the top 2 teams out of the group, and the B bracket will be the bottom 2 teams. And so even if you don't do well, which we typically do, in Denmark, I almost never do I remember us. Actually, maybe a couple of times we went to the B bracket, but very, very, quite often we'll go to the A bracket, both in Denmark and in Sweden. But it's a great policy because you don't want to go all the way to Denmark and then not 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 be able to play more than two. Sorry, 3 or 4 games. And the facilities in Denmark are pretty nice, almost nicer than Sweden. It's a small little town, Frederikshavn. I'm not sure how many people, but there's not a lot of people in Frederikshavn, a tiny little downtown. There's probably about 20 fields, really nice grass fields, couple turf fields, and you can see the bottom photo with the girls in their backpacks. We would typically walk from our school to the field because the town is so small and the school is maybe a mile away. They have the buses, but sometimes it's faster just to walk because the buses will stop at other schools and pick kids up or pick teams up. And we leave either on Saturday, Sunday, and when we leave, we take a ferry from Frederikshavn to Gothenburg. Here's a photo of what we've done. We've won the A group, we've won the B group a few times. Runners up in the A group, runners up in the B group. And I think this is the girl 2005, 2006 girl team. Yeah, we won the tournament. Was that 2022? Then you got Blago with. I don't know. What is that? The OA girls?
Yeah, the bottom, yeah. Oh wait, yeah.
Yeah, that was a good year. Girls definitely did well that year. And so when we leave Frederikshavn for Gothenburg, we take a ferry from Frederikshavn to Gothenburg. It's about 3.5 hours. This is definitely an adventurous part of the trip. It's also fun, but all the teams who are leaving Frederikshavn to go to Gothenburg will get on this ferry, and it's a little bit of a madhouse. For the most part, we usually get there really early because it's first come, first serve, and you can see where the kids are seated. This is the back of the ferry, and so what we'll do is, the ferry might board people 11 o'clock, and we'll get there 9 o'clock, get all the kids organized, luggage organized, and we just sit in front of the gate until they open it up. And we for the most part usually get pretty good seats, which you can see that all the kids in the same area, because if you don't get in and get seats, you're just spread out all over the place, and there's no designated seating. This is actually an eating area, and sometimes they get a little pissed off that we have seats in this area, but there's so many people on the ship that they have to seat people in this area, and so we try to get there before everybody else, and we typically do a pretty good job of it. And so the Gothia Cup is huge. This is I think this is the page from last year. So I think there was more teams this year. It's probably closer to 2,000 teams. There's teams from whatever country you can think of. I think every country, on the planet is represented on some way. It's pretty amazing. The the stadium for the opening ceremonies is packed. It's like, I don't know if it's 50,000, but it's up there. It's a pretty big stadium. It's definitely the 30,000 people, 40,000 people. It's almost like kind of like an opening ceremonies for the Olympics. They do a show, they do a presentation. It's as many times as I've gone, I don't know about you, Blog, but as many times as I've gone, I still enjoy going to the opening ceremonies, and usually the kids have a blast.
Yes. They haven't seen anything like that.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
and you can see here where the entire stadium gets packed. The where the grass would be, then this in the stands is just completely packed with teams that are sitting, and then they have a fireworks show at the end, which is pretty cool. This is a picture of the 2004 boys a year later, maybe, or 2 years later, at the Gothia Cup. Is one of them. That's my son, and number 9, and then Wisdom. He's playing at Cal right now. They had a good year that year. And so these are just a couple of slides of us over the years going to the Gothia Cup. So this year we were actually selected to represent the United States. So like the girls team got to walk on the field. Pretty cool. I mean, it's a pretty amazing experience. All these players now have graduated college, have jobs, and adults in the real world. This is the school that we typically say is Anaskolin. It's conveniently located in between downtown Gothenburg and the primary fields that we use, Kviberg. You just come out of the school, walk to your left half a block, and you have a tram that can take you right downtown or take you to the fields. It's very well organized. The food in Sweden is a lot better than Denmark. It's still not gourmet, but I think their influence of immigrants into Sweden has helped them to include a little more spice or a little more flavor or seasoning into their food. But the food in Sweden, there's usually rarely complaints from the players about the food in Sweden, but in Denmark, somebody for sure is going to complain. And so just like when we get to Denmark and Sweden, we get there probably a day early, maybe 2 days early sometimes. And the jet lag's not an issue, obviously, but just the getting the travel, maybe a little tired from competing and playing in the Dana Cup or the Cup #1. So that 1 or 2 days is nice, and just so that the kids can get oriented. Gothenburg is bigger than Frederikshavn, not a huge city, though. Very similar to San Francisco. It's a port city. There's good restaurants. There's plenty to see in Gothenburg. Downtown Gothenburg is pretty lively. And then you inject all these kids or these young people from all over the world for the tournament and their excitement, and Gothenburg is buzzing. I can't remember what the number was, but the Gothia Cup, I think, brings in like 20% of, maybe a little more, 20% of like all the revenue that Gothenburg generates, for the year. And so it's definitely a big deal in Gothenburg. Not everybody is happy about it. Definitely, there's some residents in Gothenburg who don't appreciate all the young kids and the crazy energy. But for the most part, most Swedes are very, very, very welcoming and nice, and I think they do appreciate the interest of coming to Sweden and Gothenburg to experience the tournament. And these are just a couple slides of us going to Gothia over the years. Oh, let me go back. So what's kind of cool, you can see in the top right corner, we try to take photos with all the teams that we play against, and then we'll try and get the players to intermingle, black and red, white, black and red, white. Sometimes it can be tough either way. If you win or lose, if you lose, sometimes the Seals players don't want to take photos, or if the other team loses, they don't want to take photos. But usually coaches are pretty cool about the entire experience, and they understand this is, it's a little, or it's a lot more than just soccer, and just being able to compete and at the end, you know, be friendly and shake each other's hands and say good game and also take a photo. It's a great life lesson or a learning lesson for the players. This was I was born in Kenya, so it was kind of cool. We beat this team a few years ago, and these 04 team. These guys went like 2 or 3 times, but as we got to play a team from Kenya and we beat them, so it was kind of cool to take the photo with them afterwards. Again, just yeah, being able to compete and then after the game just take a photo and kind of make friends is it's part of the trip. And so in 2018, this was that year that the boys had a really good year. They ended up playing in the semifinals of the Gothi Cup in the A division, and we lost to a team called Bromopoikna. Bromopoikna is one of the best youth clubs in Europe. They typically produce probably 3 or 4 players that are on the senior national team. They started in Bromopoikna, and then at some point, of course, they leave Bromopoikna because it's a club, it's a lower level club. I think it's like second division, but they have a really, really good youth program that produces high level players, and the club will sell the players as they get older. Once they turn 18 and they can become pros, if they don't sign with Bromopoikna, they'll sell them to another club. And we ended up playing them in the semifinals, and they were really, really, really good. It was a great experience. It was 2-0 at halftime. The cool thing is, like with these boys, just like now, we did a presentation and sent out a email. Bromopoikna for this age group, 2004, 2005. I think the coach was telling me that they have 800 kids just in this age group. And so their ability to pick 18 to 20 players for the Gothia Cup or even for their team is it's a little different than what we were doing. But the boys definitely played over their head in this tournament. Let's go. And so here's Gothenburg, and it's close to San Francisco size, but not quite. It's a little more than half the size of San Francisco. It's a pretty big, expansive area, but it's not the busy San Francisco. It's a city. It's a nice city. It's a beautiful city. You can see the canal. There is a canal that runs through Gothenburg, where where the kids can get on I don't know about gondola. They can get on a boat and they can do a tour of Gothenburg through the canals. I think that's what we took the girls on the tour, and we were either starting the tour or ending the tour. I think there's a photo of Young wearing the 3rd place medals for the Gothia Cup that the boys won. And so this is the expenses for the trip or the cost of the programming. The number seems a bit high, but it's actually very, very doable. So especially if we're doing raffle tickets, and there's a slide that we'll get to with the raffle ticket. So it's 5,500, which includes airplane. The main reason why the cost went up to 5,500 was the cost of airplane tickets. I think last year, we were paying like $2,200 or $2,400, for the airplane tickets. And so it's just what the current economy is asking for airplane tickets. But you can do just the land package. You can do the you can fly with the team and then go off after the tournament and do vacation in Europe. you don't have to just fly back and forth with the team. We do want the kids to fly in with the team. If they're already in Europe, that's one thing, but also again, we do want the kids to participate in, the 2 week training before we go. So we're flexible with whatever package you decide to use. We have a great agent. Her name's Michelle. She works with, we've been working with her for years, and she'll get you connected with whatever flights you need, or, wherever you need to go. And she's very responsive. We do need to know pretty soon who is interested. So we have the first deposit for the trip on November 1st. And then again, that primary, we used to have the first deposit, I think like December. But with Gothy Cup selling out last year, and they anticipate that they're probably going to sell it again this year, we had to move that date up and speed up the process just a little bit. You can see, the 50% of the balance is due on the 15th, and then the next due date is June 15th. And this is an example of our itinerary from 2 years ago. We left on the 6th, arrived on the 7th. And then ironically, I think when you leave Sweden, I think you arrive the same. So when we leave Sweden back for San Francisco, you leave on the 22nd and you come back on the 22nd, which is kind of cool. And it usually we don't take a lot of it. It's usually like 2 flights. We'll fly from San Francisco to Denmark in to Aalborg. This flight went straight into Aalborg. Sometimes we have to fly into Copenhagen and then into Aalborg. The documents that you need, of course, is your passport, a notarized travel affidavit from the parents, medical form, player participation release form. The affidavit, we ask for it. It's not critical for sure. As many times as I've done the trip, no one's ever asked for the affidavit, but the time that someone does ask for the affidavit is going to be, the time we don't have it. So we don't want you not to do it. We want the affidavit because we don't want to be in a situation where the child is not going to be allowed to travel with the team because they don't have permission and we stopped at customs. So it's a little bit of a pain because you do have to go get it notarized and stamped, and then you give it to us and we carry it. But again, as many times as I've been on the trip, and no customs agent has ever asked, which they probably should, but it has never asked for the travel affidavit. Typical things that you would want to pack, we're given air mattresses, so you don't need to pack an air mattresses. Sorry, you don't need to pack an air mattress. Flip-flops for the showers, bathing suit, towel, personal hygiene accessory, of course, your cleats, your socks. Laundry for sure is difficult. We do try in Denmark. I don't know, there might be more. There's one public laundromat that we know about, which is right by the school. And so kids who really, really need to get something washed, we arrange a day or a time where we can bring them over there, and you have to stay, and one of the coaches will usually, so if we bring 2 teams, we'll usually bring 4 coaches. There's going to be head coach and assistant coach. If it's a girls team, we'll bring a female assistant who can sleep in the room with it, because the coaches do sleep in the room with the players. But sorry, I just lost my. So when we do a laundry day, we will have an assistant coach, or sometimes Blog or I, if we just need a break, we'll stay at the laundry with the kids while they're washing their clothes and make sure that everything, is there when they get back. Because there are times, or there have been times where we washed laundry, kids left, came back, and they didn't take their clothes, but they took the clothes out of the washing machine and just left it because they wanted to use the washing machine, or they took the clothes out of the dryer and just put it on the counter because they wanted to use the dryer. And so you have to be there to make sure that you're washing and drying your clothes, and that there's no stranger who's touching your clothes or doing something with your clothes. There are The cool thing about going on these trips, you do want to bring some, like an old jersey or pin or something that you can trade, because you meet somebody from Brazil, Ghana, Iran, Singapore, Denmark, Sweden. If you have something kind of cool that's San Francisco, and even like a cheap, Pier 39 San Francisco touristy shirt, these kids love that stuff, or kids from the other countries, they love that stuff, especially if it's clearly American or San Franciscan. They'll trade away their $80 Adidas jersey for a $15 $20 San Francisco cheap t-shirt. It's pretty good. Sometimes kids get carried away, you start trading away everything, and you may even get hustled yourself, trade away trade away something that you really liked or wanted, but just get caught up in the heat of the moment, and trade something away that you probably wouldn't have traded away otherwise. And so there'll be one bag check-in, and you typically the durable travel luggage bag, that's all that you need. And you don't want to bring too big of a suitcase, because the rooms, you saw the photos, the rooms can get tight with the mattresses and the layout, and you don't need a whole lot. If you have two pairs of casual shorts that you would wear, a pair of jeans, or two pairs of jeans, and then underwear, t-shirts, socks. That's what's most important. You don't need 3 or 4 different outfits, especially when most of the time we're going to be in our soccer gear. And so wearing their sweatsuits, wearing their soccer shorts, wearing flip-flops, you wear that more often than anything else. And so the kids don't need to overpack and have 5 different pairs of jeans, 4 or 5 different pairs of shorts, 3, 4 pairs of shoes. I would limit what you have, just to the necessity. Again, I typically travel with like a backpack, and I just the backpacks that we usually get the kids the basketball elite backpack, which is a pretty big backpack, and that's all I'll bring. But I keep it. I have my coach's gear, and maybe 1 pair of jeans, and just t-shirts, 7 pairs of t-shirts, 7 pairs of shorts, 7 pairs of socks, and that's about it. You don't really need a whole lot. Again, the cost of the trip is $5,500 per player. We do have some scholarship money, and we budget some scholarship money into the price, and also we get, I think, for like 20 kids, we get two tickets maybe for free, and so that covers the coaches' airplane tickets. You can definitely go out and get corporate or individual sponsorships. The sponsorships, though, they have to be individual, meaning small business, but you can't get like a sponsor just for your own child, especially if the sponsorship wants a tax deductible donation for it. I mean, somebody can pay for your child individually and say, oh yeah, well, I want to sponsor some. Yeah, that's fine, but it's not tax deductible unless it goes to the entire team. You can't just get a donation for one person and then get a tax, a tax deduction through the seals or use it as a tax deduction from the seals. It would have to go to the entire team. But we've been pretty good at through raffle tickets and, even people just doing their own, garage sales, bake sales, dance parties, and raising money, for the teams. There's typically, I'll get to the slide. Typically, kids will get to, so the best year that we raised $31,000 for the trip, and that was I'm pretty sure that was the girls team. The girls are usually exactly, 2006 girls. Girls are usually the best at going out and organizing and getting getting raffle tickets sold, and just doing the dance party and the garage sale. Those are usually the girls teams that do the do those events. But we've had players who've literally raised almost the entire amount of the trip just through fundraising on their own and raffle ticket sales. And so you can see, with the chart, we do try to push the players to at least raise at least $1,500, and you can do that again with the raffle tickets. The raffle tickets, it's the great thing about the raffle ticket. Not only is it raising money for the kids, but also it puts them in a situation where they have to interact with people and let these people know who they are and why somebody buying a raffle ticket from them is a good thing and is going to help improve this young person's life or life experience. And when the kids have to go out, a lot of kids will do it in groups, and they'll organize and say, okay, we're going to hit Whole Foods, or we're going to hit Trader Joe's, or we're going to go to this soccer tournament, and we're going to try to talk to people to get them to buy raffle tickets. Raffle tickets are $10, and when you buy the raffle ticket, $9 will go to the player, and $1 goes to the club for just helping to pay for club expenses. When we are in Europe, we will take the teams out to dinner on occasion. Sometimes there was one year where Heathrow decided the workers at the Heathrow airport decided to strike, and literally like all our luggage was stuck in Heathrow for a few days. And there was a couple kids, I think like 5 kids, that their luggage was just lost. And so when we were in Sweden, we just bought them clothes. We bought them what they needed. We bought them soccer shoes. We bought them clothes that they could wear. We bought them deodorant. We bought them everything that they needed so that they wouldn't feel, I guess, uncomfortable, or so that they had a good experience. And sometimes that's just what we just need to, you never know what it is, but sometimes we just need to spend money on the players that was unexpected. But we will take them out to dinners. And in Denmark, there's a restaurant or a hotel where we've been taking the kids every year. It's a pretty nice restaurant. They usually give us a deal because we'll bring in 4 teams, 5 teams, and it's a buffet where and it's nice. There's seafood, there's steak, there's salads. Probably they're one of the things that the kids look towards the most, because definitely it's going to be the best meal that they had in Denmark. But that's again that's part of the one, the raffle tickets. The $1 per ticket will go to the team, and then $9 goes to the player. And you can see quite a few. They're really ambitious players. Some of them will get competitive and they want to just beat each other, but you can raise $2,000, $3,000 selling raffle tickets if you really want to. And probably on average, it's $1,500. And we try to push the kids, and get the coaches to push the kids to try to get to that $1,500 mark. And you can see there's some that just don't even care, and they $100, and there's some kind of try at 250, but for the most part, I mean, $1,000 off of the cost is $1,000, right? And so, and not to mention, again, it's a great way for the kids to own the trip and be invested in the trip by going out and raising some money. And so if you do want to try to get some sponsorship for the team, we do have a sponsorship template that we could share. Some of the teams have been lucky enough to raise $5,000, $10,000. I know it was one year, I think it may have been this year, the team had a connection through French American with the owner of La Boulange. And I think he donated like $5,000 or $10,000 for the trip for the team, which was awesome. So I think he had just sold La Boulange to Starbucks, so I think he was feeling a little generous. But for the fact that he donated $10,000 was pretty amazing. So there are people sometimes who are willing to make that type of donation. You just got to ask, and worst thing you can do is say but sometimes you just never know. And this is a picture of the raffle ticket. Again, $10 per ticket. We've been doing pretty much the same prizes, an iPad Air, Apple Watch, some AirPods. We don't necessarily, and also, one of the $1 that the club collects from each raffle ticket will go to pay for the prizes for the raffle. But we've been pretty successful with the raffle over the course of doing it, and I highly recommend that we encourage the kids again to try to get to that $1,500 mark. It really is it's not that hard. It's only 150 tickets, and so I think if the kids put in the effort, they can do it. Right.
Can I?
Yep. Blago.
No, when you finish, I want some stuff.
And so we want to get a minimum 16 players per team. This year we're gonna do 2011s through 2008s, boys and girls. We want to. In the past, I think we brought 5 teams a couple times, but I think we're going to limit it to 4 if we get to that. If we're in the situation where there are up to 5 teams, and if we are bringing girls teams again, we will for sure be bringing. If we have one female coach right now, we're trying to find more or recruit more, but we will definitely be. There's ex-SEALs players who, some of the players who have gone on this trip who would love to come and be a chaperone and work with the girls team. All right, so there we go. We're at the end. So if anybody has any questions, for sure.
Let me just jump in some stuff. The players definitely are totally different. Like they, as a soccer players, they're gonna return after when they come in the city, and then definitely lots of growing up to do with through raffle tickets, to interaction with different countries, and on their own, maybe for the first time away from the parents. Most of the times they don't want to hear from you. Like some parents were calling us, is he okay? Is she okay? Doesn't pick up the phone. They have a blast. A lot of good soccer, lots of good like a lifetime friendship, and we have players that they've gone 3 times, maybe 4. So it's a like in US once in a lifetime opportunity for sure. And we're super excited as a coaches when we go to it's every time it's very exciting.
Just like Blago was saying, it really is a great experience after the fact, because the level of physicality is really high, and you combine that with the culture of refereeing where they play advantage. As many times as we do these informationals and we talk with parents, and we have to let the parents know, please don't yell at the refs. Please don't yell at the refs. It's just the way that they play out here. And, our kids, they're going to get used to it. They're going to start being more physical. They're going to start hitting a little bit harder. And then when they do come back here, it takes a little bit of time because sometimes the players or the teams have to adjust to the physicality here because it's not as physical, and the referees don't allow the type of contact that they allow in Denmark and in Sweden. And you sometimes you'll see players get yellow cards just because they're still kind of in the Denmark Sweden mentality as far as how hard they're going to go in on a shoulder to shoulder tackle. I don't know if anybody has any questions. Mhm. Okay. Well, I mean, if you do have any questions, our emails, you can send us an email, let us know. Again, we do have to move kind of fast just because, again, we don't want to be in a situation where we can't go. And we just have to get things organized as quickly as possible. Because last year, by the end of December, Gothia Cup was sold out and there weren't any more. And it was the first time ever, but there weren't any more available spots for teams. It was the first time we probably haven't been in like 15 years. And we can share the recording with you if you want, but we can also share the deck. If anybody wants the deck, please let us know and we can send you the deck. Okay, well, thank you for your time, and definitely again, reach out and let us know if you have any questions or if you guys want a copy of the deck.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye, Blogger. Good night.
Guys.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. I think we sign off, I think.